What's going on, irregulars? Welcome back on another Thursday, even though we didn't see you last Thursday.
It's been a little rough.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. We got a little busy, we got a little drunk, and but we're back. Bobby, how you feeling?
I mean, I'm feeling better than you were last Thursday.
Friday. Oh,
Friday.
well, both, I guess.
Yeah, well, it was Friday, right?
I don't know. What
Well,
day is
that
it?
goes to show how banged up you were.
Yeah.
Tell us about that a little bit.
So, this does not actually have anything to do with why we didn't put out an episode last week, but
We definitely blame them.
yeah, 100%. So,
Yeah.
we had friends visiting who I didn't even know that you were that close with the other half. But my good friend who moved to Hawaii, her name is Kathy. She was back visiting, and she had moved to Hawaii with her current boyfriend, Matt. I was out celebrating her visiting, and we're sitting there, and her boyfriend's like, "Oh, how's Bobby doing?" And as hopefully you guys know by now, my boyfriend's name is Bobby. So I'm like, "Oh, how do you know my boyfriend?" He goes, "You and Bobby are dating?" I'm like, and then this goes on. Eventually, I figure out he's talking about Bobby Ashton. So
Squad. Let's go.
I FaceTime Bobby, and he joins us at the bar, and pretty much like I remember you being there for like 1 hour. How long were we hanging out at that
So
point?
I showed up and you were gone.
Really?
Yeah,
Shit.
bad. And then it was just a really, really, really steady decline
Okay.
from down there. It just got worse.
But did I Irish exit before it got like
That you didn't Irish
horribly
exit anything? We calculated and put you in the car. We
Oh.
were like, you need to go.
Oh, well, at least I accepted that. Did I fight you on it at all?
No.
Okay, that's the one piece of me getting a little bit older is that at least I know now that when it's time for me to go. Before I'd be like, no, I'm fine. Keep me here. I'm the life of the party. And like,
Yeah.
meanwhile, I don't have my shoes on. So anyway, basically, as you guys know, I have been in a relationship now for a couple of months, and my boyfriend's a bit older than I am, so we don't really go out anymore. We're in bed by, I would say, the latest 10:30. And like, don't get me wrong, we still go out and drink, but we start at like 5:30, we end at like 9:30. So like my going out nights are not what they were when I started this podcast. I'll put it that way.
It's really funny. I was actually at the gym right before this, and I was talking to a friend of ours, and she was like asking me like, "Oh, are you dating or whatever?" And I was like, "No." She's like, "You know what? Like the city just opened up." She's like, I highly suggest like you go down there and try and meet someone down there." And I was like, "Yeah, but I don't know, man. I feel like I need to avoid the city a little bit right now because it's so crazy. Like it's so packed and it's
Right.
like a little overwhelming." She goes, "Oh no, you go at like 6 o'clock and then you get the
Mm-hmm.
fuck out of there by 10."
Yep.
And I was like, "You're right." And she's like, "You also find more respectable girls that way." I'm like,
Absolutely.
"Oh my gosh, she's a genius."
Yeah.
So
Or like a Saturday day drink in the city is amazing. When I lived there, that's all we ever did.
exactly.
Start
So
at like 12, go home by like 8.
mature drinking.
Yeah, 100%.
It sounds like a porn title.
So yeah, so I went out in the evening for the first time in like, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 months, and I blacked out.
Oh yeah,
I
she did.
ignored 2 of my boyfriend's phone calls, like a straight like FU button apparently. I made a giant, really messy plate of microwave nachos that I only knew about based on the shredded cheese on my counter and the hot sauce plate in my trash can. And when I opened my laptop the next day, it said that I had like Find My iPhone open. So I played a sound for my own cell phone in my 1-bedroom apartment at 12:46 p.m. a.m. So I like lost my phone in my own home apparently. But like my point is, I knew that I had to eat. I knew that it was time to go home. I lost my phone and I found it. I have no excuse for ignoring my boyfriend's calls. I don't know what that was about. But
Well, here one thing
these
I
are all
will.
steps up, I feel. And I made it to work the next day at the bar. I had to bartend at like noon, and I made it there.
Well, the one thing I am happy about is that you knew your phone was missing because 90% of the time
Yeah.
when you get drunk, I'm like, "Yo, I texted you, something stupid or whatever. Did you see my text?" And you're like, "I don't even know where my phone is." And I'm
Even
like,
when I'm
"Oh,
sober,
yeah,
I'm bad at that. So.
exactly." So I was like, "Wow, you actually knew that. You were like conscious enough to understand that like you lost your phone."
That's what's weird. It's like usually when I like forget parts of the night, like back in the day, it's all gone. Like there's no rational like anything, But this one was like I don't fully remember going to bed, but like all the pieces were there. So
Yeah.
maybe
It-
I feel like
organized chaos.
I feel like that's like a little bit growing up.
A little bit. You're getting
No?
there. You're almost 30. You're not quite 30.
Okay, yeah. I'm
So,
pushing 30.
yeah. So if you once you get to 30, then the pieces of the puzzle come together and then you just don't drink like I do.
Or I just die.
Yeah, or that. You
One
just
of the two.
yeah. That's pretty much it.
So how was your weekend?
It was not it was good. I mean, I didn't really do much of anything. Celebrated a friend's birthday. Just went out, had some drinks and whatnot. But I will say you would be proud of me. I shot my shot with a girl at the gym.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the bar.
Ah, fuck no, dude. I was drinking with the boys. You can't do that, you know. But
Okay.
no, I was at the gym, and I know a lot of people are probably like, "Oh, that's cringy." I have a great pickup line for the gym.
I like would hate I would hate that. When people look at me at the gym, I'm like, look away, buddy. I'm disgusting right now. Leave me the fuck alone.
I get that, and that's why I think my pickup line's great. So, well, my move, whatever it is. So, I wrote my name and number on a piece of paper
Where'd you get the paper and the pen?
from the front desk. No,
Okay.
no shame. I was like, "Yo, that girl's really hot." Did she ask about me? And they're like, "She has no clue who you are." And I'm like, "That was the joke." And then I was like, "Cool, give me a pen and paper." So I wrote it down, and
Did
it's
you
better.
write Bob or Bobby? Did you write your last name?
No, no.
Did you use parentheses for the area code? I have so many questions.
I
Did you
yeah,
write a message?
I did a bracket at a regular podcast.
Okay.
No, but
Always plug.
right. So I was like, all right, cool. So I wrote my name and number down, and it's better to catch them like if they're like on their way out, but timing didn't work out. She was still working out. I was leaving, so I just walked over. I was like, hey, excuse me. I was like, I know it's taboo to talk to girls at the gym. I'm just gonna give you this, and then I'm gonna leave you alone. You can do whatever you want with it, but if you're gonna throw it out, wait till I leave so I'm not totally embarrassed. And she like chuckled and laughed. She was like, haha, thank you. And then I rolled out.
Ah,
So
it's
you
not
walk up, you're confident,
bad.
you look confident, you know what I mean? You're, whatever. You make fun of the fact that you're doing something wrong. Okay. You leave her the fuck alone. And then you make a little joke afterwards and you leave so you're funny, So it kind of
Wow.
checks all the boxes.
Wow.
No text though. So I guess I
Oh,
fucked up.
fuck. Do you
Yeah.
do this a lot?
No, that was the second time I've ever done that.
Did the first time? Did she text you the first time?
Oddly enough, it was down in Florida. And I called her, like I said, I called her on the way out and I said kind of the same shit. She was like, "Oh my gosh, that was so sweet. What's your name?" And we were chatting a little bit. She's like, I'll let you know, like I am seeing someone, but like that was really nice of you and I hope to see you around. I was like, all right, cool. Ran into her 2 months later, I ran into her at the bar and she came up to me and she was like, "Hey, what's up?" And I was like, "Yeah." She's like, "You going to the gym?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll be there tomorrow." And she was like, "Yeah, me too. I'll text you when I leave." And I was like, "You don't have my number." She's like, "Yeah, I do. It's in my car somewhere." And I was like, "All right, I won't hold my breath." Sure shit. Next morning, woke up. She texted me. She's like, "Hey, actually, some family stuff came up. I'm not gonna be able to make it to the gym, but I told you I would text you." And I was
Oh
like,
my gosh.
"Interesting." Never turned into anything, which sucks. That girl was fucking super cute, but whatever.
I,
It worked the one time. So technically, I'm 1 for 1, and the other one is an asterisk. It's out in the open. You never know. I might get a text.
I don't know. I feel like if you're gonna text someone, you would do it by now.
I waited 2 months for the other one.
That's true. That's true. Did you bang the other girl?
No, and like I said, nothing came from it. But I also left Florida like 2 months after that. So
True. That was a very vulgar question, also. So sorry, guys. This is how we talk when we're not on air.
oops.
Yeah. So again, we kind of said this 2 weeks ago, but our schedules are a little bit spotty throughout the summer. So
Summer hours.
yeah, so our summer hours are going to be a little unpredictable. We will try to give you a heads up when we are taking breaks, but I think
Our
we're
summer hours are going to be a little irregular. Boom.
Oh,
Bitch.
I didn't know where you're going with that, but that's pretty good.
You like that?
I like that. All right. So, but the important part is we're back and we have a guest this week that we are both very excited about.
Yeah, so speaking of the gym, actually, I ran into her at the gym, and it was funny because I haven't seen her in when did I graduate? 2000.
100
Yeah,
years
so
ago.
like almost 13, coming up on 12, 13 years, whatever it is. And I was like on a machine. She like comes over and she's like, "Is that you, Bobby?" I'm like, "Damn, girl, is that you? Like, I haven't seen you in so long." And like, you know what I looked like senior year and what I look like now.
Very
Like,
different, ladies and
I'm
gentlemen.
like,
Very different.
yeah, I can't believe she like recognized me. And then we were shooting the shit, and then we were just talking about like kind of life. I'm like, man, pretty interesting. And then I told Caitlin, and Caitlin knows who she is, and we were like, all right, let's put something together while you're in the area. So why don't you kind of intro us here?
All right. So, a friend of mine, since we were like, I don't know, probably 6 or 7, a friend of Bobby since he was about 5 years old. Lived in the area with us back in the day and then moved out to California, and she is back visiting with us. Ladies and gentlemen, we'd like to welcome Ashley.
Hey.
How,
Oh,
how you
thank
doing,
you.
girl?
I'm good. Thank you both for having me. I love that you talked about how you used to look because I do not look the same.
Yeah, no, it's you do, but like you definitely look like
You guys both had glow ups. That's what we like to call here at a
Amen.
regular podcast.
yeah,
Glow ups,
definitely.
hard AF.
Okay, amen.
It was funny. She just came over. She's like, are you?" And I'm like, "Is that you?" Like we did the Spider-Man meme where you like kind of point at each other, we're like that. But
You're
Because
so
I mean,
swole.
let's just say it. Like, okay, you're both good looking in high school, but you both are looking fire these days.
I'll
So
take that.
I
Amen.
appreciate that.
I
Her more so
peaked
than I.
at 21, so fuck me. But you guys look great, so I'm just happy to be
It took
here
me a
with you
while.
guys.
Late bloomer over here.
A late bloomer. So, California, and now you're back for a little bit, just visiting. Kind of paint the picture. Who are you? And tell us about yourself a little bit.
Yeah, North Penn grad, like us all. Went there K through 12, stayed in the same district, lived in the same house all the way through life. After college, I went to Westchester, started teaching after that, and then I was just like, you know what? Like, I need more to life. I have 3 brothers. I've seen how they have just made and paved their way and stayed on the East Coast. But I'm like, I just need more. I literally earn and yearn for more. So what can I do? And then that's when I was just like, God, show me where I need to go next. And California was it. So I just picked up my things and just went across, and he literally caught me because I did not know what the hell I was doing.
Did you have a job when you moved out there already?
I was nannying.
Oh,
My
wow.
first 3 months, I was a nanny for a crazy high-end family. Can't speak much about it, but I had to get out of there real quick.
Wow.
But it's what I'm good at. I've been working with kids since I was 11. So I went right on care.com, set up my profile. And before I moved, that's when I got a ping from a family. And they're like, hey, when you get here, we'll help you, situate yourself, find a good area, but we want you to come work for us. So that was kind of like a job, but I was a nanny. It's
That's
like $17 an hour.
Oh my gosh. Wow. And I'm sure like from what you were making before that, it was like not
Nothing.
not great.
Nothing. Nothing whatsoever.
Yeah, and 17 an hour in California is equivalent to like maybe 87 cents an hour
Yeah.
here.
What part of California are you in?
Well, in the beginning, I was right in central LA. Yeah.
Oh wow.
So right by LAX, right by the airport. And I lived there for my first 3 years. And then this is my 4th year. So I have my own apartment. I live in Hollywood right off of Sunset. So a bitch feels like she made it.
yes, yes.
I love it.
Yeah, so it's been a blessing, but it was not easy, y'all. Like it was not easy. For anyone to move, it's not easy, but to literally pick up from one coast to the next, that's not easy at all.
Yeah, because we had Mike on here earlier, episode 36, I think it was. He moved to San Jose to move with his now husband. But yeah, so he was in there for a little bit, and I remember the culture shock of him moving out there and stuff like that because it's different.
It's totally different, but I'm thankful that I'm from the East Coast because I think we're hustlers over here.
Mm-hmm.
And when you go there, it's a different type of hustle, but you already have that background and it's already engraved into you. So you just hit the ground and you hit the ground and you just keep on going. So I'm thankful I'm from this coast. They're a little spoiled and bougie on that coast. I'm not gonna lie.
Absolutely.
So what do you mean the hustle's different? Like in what way?
So like I said, I started working when I was 11. My mom was like, you want to get your nails done? Well, we're going to start working at a daycare at just like a family friend's home.
Mm-hmm.
So I've always had a job. I worked at McDonald's. I worked at Gertrude Hawk Chocolate in the mall.
Oh.
Like I've
banging
Let's just
chocolate.
moment of
yo.
silence for that. Like on
Oh my
Friday
God.
nights, you go to the mall with your friends and like bullshit and like
Yes.
flirt with the guys across the food court. Go to Gertrude Hawk, get a chocolate covered strawberry. Like
Yeah.
I'm probably giving out the samples.
oh my
Yeah.
God,
When you
wow.
walk by, that's me.
You walk past it and you just go,
Yes.
oh gosh, it smelled so good.
That
Wow.
cinnamon sugar cashews. Like that was literally my life
That was
and
the
all
jam.
through high school. So it's like you move there and you got to work because it's expensive. You can't just have one job. I had 2-3 jobs. I was doing Instacart, doing Postmates, working at Bed Bath Beyond. I was nannying. I was a sub. But it was all what I was used to. Just that hustle and having multiple jobs to just take care of yourself. I was already used to. So going out there, it was nothing new. But I
Okay.
had to do it to
Mhm.
survive,
Mhm.
if that makes sense. You got to do what you got to do.
Did you have roommates out there? Or were you by yourself in the beginning?
When I first moved, no, I had 2 roommates.
Did you know them prior?
I knew one because the one girl is actually from the area as well. So we moved out together. And then the other young lady, we just met on roomstores.com.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Isn't
and
it
they
crazy, like the apps and stuff that you can
crazy.
get to like could you imagine telling your parents or like our parents telling their parents like, yeah, I'm living with this random person? They'd be like, absolutely not. Like, how did you meet this person on the internet? No way. You know what I mean? And now it's like, okay, you didn't find your roommate on Roomsters, like
Yeah,
whatever.
right?
Yeah, my
It's
mom
al-
was so against it.
It's
So
almost like
against
more
it.
weird to meet someone at the bar and be like, "Hey, do you want to live together?" Like that's weird.
Yeah,
now.
organically, you
Yeah,
mean? Like-
yeah, right.
Like how we're supposed to meet each
Right,
other, you
right.
know?
Right,
Yeah, that
correct.
organic friendships, they don't come by anymore.
No.
I've always said, like there should be apps for like yourself when you moved out there. Like there should be friendship apps. Like
There
there's-
are.
but none that work and none that anyone uses.
Bumble has Bumble
Okay, but
friends.
just
I don't trust
how
that.
often do you meet a friend that's like, "How'd you guys meet?" Bumble.
I don't trust it.
So I know someone who did use it and met a couple friends off of it. But here's my thing: I used it when I went down to Florida. When I first moved to Florida, I used Bumble Friends. I was like, "Fuck it!" I find like a homie or two to just drink some beers with. Unfortunately, and I guess fortunate for them, I don't know, but I found it was a lot of guys who were
Looking for guys.
bi-curious and didn't want it to get out, and they had girlfriends. They're like, they're very confused, and I get it. I can see why you would choose this route, but that wasn't what I was looking for, so I wound up just stop doing. I did it for like a week, and it was just like every homie's profile was like, have a girlfriend, but I don't really know what my sexual orientation is and all this stuff, and I'm like, not really trying to dive into that. I just moved 1,200 miles away from my family and friends. So yeah, I did find it. Girls, though, I've heard some success, so it's just a little different. I think the vibe.
Different.
I haven't heard any success stories, so
I'll
Me
tell you
either.
off air who it was.
okay. Well, if you have a success story, DM us because I want to know.
Yeah, me too.
Absolutely. So you move out there. You start nannying for this high-profile family. What was your next transition? Like, what happened? What was what did you want to do next? Because
Yeah.
obviously nannying, you even admitted, was not the end goal.
No. Well, I originally moved to California for acting, of course. So the nannying was just like the golden ticket to get there. But once I realized she was crazy, I had to figure out something else. So God actually gave me a 1-year contract at Google. So I worked at Google in Venice, and I was an educational consultant. So I would take this app that they created. It's called Google Expeditions. So it's augmented and virtual reality, but it was in a beta form. So I went to schools, I would show it to the students, to the teachers, we would do like demo lessons, and then they would give me all the feedback. And I would just take it back to the engineers, close up my kit, and go home. But it was great because Google is such a great company to work for. Like
Yeah.
the food, I'm greedy as hell, but the food, the campus, just like so much that they offer. And I'm like, dang, like this is my first year in California. Like I'd only been there for like 4 months. And I'm like, if this is what's to come, like I'm in the right spot. But that was only a year contract. So once that was done, I started subbing. LAUSD is not North Penn School District. It is far different. The Los Angeles Unified School District, it has over 2,000 schools. And
Oh my
they'll
gosh.
just ping you wherever. They try and keep you in a radius, but for me, if I'm money hungry, I'll take a job if it's 45, 50 miles out. But LA 45, 50 miles
That's
out,
5 hours.
Yeah.
it's ridiculous. So I'm like, this isn't my forever. Like my days have got to be numbered with this. And then that's when a private school I had subbed at reached out, and they were like, hey, we love you. We would love for you to just be an in-house sub. And I've been with them ever since, but I'm not a sub anymore.
So you said that you had moved there for acting. Is this a passion that you had prior? Because knowing you, I had never known. Like when I saw one of those things, when I saw that that's what you were doing, I was like, oh, I'm not surprised, but I didn't know that that was something you were interested in.
Yeah, I mean, ever since elementary school, we would do like Nap, we did Hamlet, we would do all of those plays, and I loved it. But as I got older, I kind of just like let it go. I was cheerleading, I was doing student government, just doing so many things to where the theatrical side was always put in the back burner. And then in Westchester, I was taking electives, and theater was an elective I took every single year. And I'm like, damn, I really like this. Like, I'm good at it. It's fun to be a different person, to pull the different layers of a character. Like, I enjoyed it. So after Westchester, I started going to the Philadelphia Acting School. And I would go down to the city like once to twice a week. And it was just something I so really enjoyed. So after that, I was like, I could teach forever. I could teach with my eyes closed, honestly. So like, am I growing? Like, or do I stay and just continue to do what I'm good at? or do I do what I'm passionate about? So that's when I kept going out to California and visiting friends and family. And then I was like, you know what? Fudge it. Like, what do I have to lose? We think of all the friends that we've lost, like literally that aren't breathing on this earth anymore. And I'm like, if I'm still here, I've got to do something with my life because I could die tomorrow. I could die later this evening. Like, you don't know. So you only have one life to live. So what am I going to lose by going to California? I might lose like my savings account because I went with a hefty savings account that I have now, thank God. But like a lot of sacrifices. And it was just something that if I only have this one life to live, let me give it a shot. Worst thing that'll happen is I move back with my parents. The worst thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's my dad always used to say that, like preach that to me and my sister, like as we were growing up, he would always be like, I'd rather see you fail at trying to do something that you love than be super successful at something that you fundamentally hate. He's like,
Ooh.
that's the previous is so much harder to do. You know what I mean? Like it's easy to be successful at something that you're good at.
Yeah.
Obviously, he goes, well, go do something that you truly love and then try and be successful at that. And if you fail, cool, that's okay.
Yeah.
And we are fortunate, you know what I mean, that we have family that give a shit about us, and that if we do fall flat on our face, we can come back to them and whatnot. Which, you know, shout out to mom and dad,
Preach.
all
Absolutely.
the moms and dads,
All the moms and dads.
Mhm.
yeah. But yeah, because it's funny because when we ran into the gym, you were like, yeah, you know, I'm just acting, and I was like, acting? I don't remember you acting in high school. And then I'm like, but why didn't she? She like fits that part like perfectly, like. So you just stuck to like sports, I'm assuming, and whatnot?
Completely, yeah. I was an all-star cheerleader literally since I was 8 all the way through.
Yeah, because that's how we know each other.
Exactly. From your
she used to-
sister, from your sister. Like,
Yeah.
I cheered with both of your sisters.
Ashley used to cheer for me when I was 5 years old,
said, "Go
trying to throw a
Bobby."
football. Yeah.
Go, Bobby.
Oh yeah. I was number 7. That's all I remember. And I was the quarterback, and I couldn't see over the line.
Oh.
I was so small, but I have a cannon for an arm, so that's why it worked out.
Shoot.
And then Ashley was doing cartwheels over on the side.
So cute. What a picture. So, okay, so you're acting now in California. What did that transition look like? Like, how did you start that out there?
Oof. So my acting coach from Philadelphia Acting School, he connected me with an acting coach out in LA. So I literally just transferred from one school to the next. And it's good because that puts you in a community. Moving somewhere new, community is big. You don't want to feel isolated. You don't want to feel alone. So like my acting friends are like my family, like they're my crew. So that really helped that transition, but it's still a scary world. Like sales tax is like 10% in California.
Oh.
Like it's hella expensive.
Yeah.
So you just had to get used to doing that. And that's why I talked about hustling. Like you've got to work your hiney off for what it is that you truly want. But then I still want to live. Like I want to go on vacation with my homegirls. You want to do things like that, but I'm also not here just to live. I'm here to start a career and really leave a legacy for myself and my children later down the road. But it's just all of those things that really kind of made me who I am. So the transition was not easy at all. It's still not easy, but it's something that I love because I'm growing from it. When shit's not easy, you really just build and grow. Like life begins at the end of your comfort zone. So now that I'm not comfortable, it's like, dang, like the old me, oh gosh, she has learned so much just from these 4 years and living in California.
I think it's pretty interesting you say that, because I think I've said it before on the podcast that happiness lies right on the other side of your being outside of your comfort zone. And you just said practically the same thing. So I kind of want to talk about, so how long were you out there until you started acting school again? Did you do it right away?
Right away.
Or oh,
Right away.
jump
I
into it.
didn't want to miss a beat because I didn't want to get caught up in that LA lifestyle
Right.
of partying. There's a beach literally 10 miles from your house. I didn't want to get caught up in that. And just like moving to teach, my mom was like, you could have did that here, girl. So I wanted to make sure that I moved with the passion that I had. So I enrolled right away.
Right away. So you were doing the acting school stuff and nannying at the
Yes,
same time.
yeah.
And then that transitioned into teaching.
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense.
Okay, so you've been out there for 4 years now. What kind of work have you done in the acting field?
So in 2017, I was doing a lot of background work. You know, background actors are important. Like they make the film.
So what does that mean, background work?
The person walking across the street.
I always wonder that. I'm always like, is this staged or is it organic? Like, what is it?
So it's hella staged.
Okay. All right. So they're like struggling actors.
Yeah,
Wow.
exactly. But being a background actor, one, you learn the terminology. You get to meet producers, you get to meet showrunners, directors. You meet so many people by being on set. You need to be friendly, you need to be professional, show up on time. But background actors make the movies in a lot of scenes. Like all of those people, it wouldn't feel organic if they weren't there.
Well, it looks real. It looks like it's not staged at all.
Exactly.
That's
So
why
they're
I
like,
wondered that.
action. And that's when the background actors start moving. And then it's like action. And that's when your main cast starts doing their scene. So yeah, we're hella important.
Is that paid work?
Yeah. Oh,
Okay.
I hate to say it, but a struggling person in California can't do anything unless it's paid.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fair.
No. Yeah, we don't work for free.
No, yeah,
No.
not at all. So that was my first 2 years. And then I landed a small background role on Dolomite's My Name. So that was like Eddie Murphy, Wesley Snipes. That was in 2018. That had a lot of big names in it. And that's how I became SAG. So SAG is like the actors union that everyone strives to become and be in. But once you're in the union, it's like any other union you're taken care of. So literally my first 2 years, I busted my tail. And then I got into the union. And that's when things just really like took off. So I've been a stand-in for Serena Williams. I am not a tennis player, but I might look like one. So they use your girl all the time when they have any sort of role in Palm Springs, because I live about an hour and a half from Palm Springs. So I am a stand-in for Serena Williams, which is super dope.
That is wild.
Girl, who are you? I've never
Wow.
played tennis. Never, ever played tennis. But they were like, you fit, you know what I mean? You fit the body. I had the braids. They were just like, pretend. I served it right into the live audience. I felt so bad. And they were like, yeah, we don't need you to do that again. And I was like, I told you I didn't play. Like, I'm so sorry. I've done, I did a Lexus commercial. That's super crazy because that was March 9th, right before pandemic hit in 2020. So we filmed the commercial and I'm like, this thing it'll never get produced because we're in a worldwide pandemic. I'm a teacher. One of my students was like, Miss Samuels, I saw you in a commercial and you're wearing that same outfit. And I'm like, oh shit. I'm like, oh shit. Can you show me? Like, can you pull it up? And they typed it up right on their MacBook. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's right there. So I've done a Lexus commercial. I've done You. You ever see You on Netflix?
Yes.
So
Joe, that
last
dude's a creep.
season, I know, crazy. But let You teach all the young women out there, like, you never know who you're dating.
Oh.
And the things you put on social media, you gotta be careful. We tag our location all the time. Creepers will pop up.
Yeah.
So like that show alone has taught me so much as a young female when I was single. Like, you gotta be careful.
Even when you're not single, I have a
Yeah,
crazy
true.
story I'll tell off air. We've had a stalker in our friend group before. Terrifying.
Super creepy.
He's
So-
probably listening to this right now, honestly, because he stalks one of our mutual friends. Anyway.
Well, you need to chill, dude. It's like, so that I was a friend of the guy that got killed. I can never ever remember his name, but that
In season 1 or 2?
season 2. So it was.
Wait, so you were in it?
Yeah, so I'm a friend of his at like the funeral when Kathy Lee Griffin, she's like talking all about him and I'm like consoling one of their friends.
Wait, I saw that. How
Yeah.
did I not see you?
Because girl, you weren't looking.
No. This is.
Now I gotta go back.
Love that show, so I
I
am
know.
pumped now.
I have to go back now. Like there's no
It's
there's no
so
reason
fun.
I can't go
It
back.
is so fun. And then right in this past September, I shot a film in Arizona where I was the supporting role. But something an acting coach always tells you is you don't have the role until after the table read. So are you familiar with like a table read? Like you get a role, I have
Mhm.
a role, and we're all sitting around like reading the script.
Mhm.
But don't ever come and just read that script monotone. You read it as if you did the work, you know who your character is. And I put in so much work and they called me, they're like, hey, we want to bump you to the lead. So I was just, my film just came out this past March. So I was a lead in my first feature film ever. It's on the Win Network. It's about to get picked up by Amazon. It got picked up by Tubi. So like it's my first feature film that your girl's the lead. So
Can you share with us the title of it?
oh yeah, it's John Wynn's Playhouse.
That's awesome.
So it's creepy. It's like me and a group of friends. We go away for like a couple's retreat. Some things go down in the house, and that's all I can say.
Oh, so it's a scary movie.
It's a mix. There's some scary, there's some thriller a little bit. I had to do a lot of studying because I do not like scary movies.
Me either.
Like,
But I have to
do
watch it
not.
now.
Yeah.
I had to watch Chainsaw Massacre
Oh.
just to get myself like in the mindset of being in a house, and then the house being a little creepy and things like that. I don't do scary movies.
Was it scary filming it?
It was more scary filming it than it was for me watching it, if that makes sense. Because I kind of knew the script
Right.
by then.
Mhm.
But there's a one scene where I was scared. Like I had to portray that. And I'm just like thinking of like
How nervous were you at that time too? Because it's your first lead, so it probably was
scary.
pretty not easy.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's challenging, but like it was probably a little bit easier to like tap into like that
Scared.
being
Yeah.
scared because you're like, I actually am fucking scared. I don't
Yeah.
know what I'm doing. You know what I mean?
So I actually did some laps around the house to get like my adrenaline up and to get me like sort of like panting and breathing heavy as if I was literally just being chased. But they turned off the lights. They did some crazy cool color effects and they did smoke. And I just literally like, I psyched myself out. Like I had to get and tap into that different mindset. Like someone's legit chasing me and it's like ass and elbows and I'm out.
That is crazy.
I couldn't imagine. So one of the main not one of the main reasons, but I got excited for this because I just started watching Entourage again for like the 7th time. I love that show, and it's if for those of you who don't know, it's literally about packing your shit, moving to LA, and trying to become famous. You know what I mean? Like, so that's why I was like, man, I need to ask her so many questions. So like, what was the biggest challenge as far as like that first role, like your first role? Like, how nervous were you? Like, what did you do to prepare? Like, what was? I mean, because at that point you're just like, oh God, like deer in the headlights.
Seriously. And my co-star, who is my fiance in the film, Vincent Ward, he's on The Walking Dead. Like he's like he's older than me. So he's a seasoned actor. And my father-in-law is Ernest Lee Thomas, who our parents know him, but like this show, What's Happening, back in the day, he plays Raj. So like I was with some A-list actors and like I had to step up to the plate. So I did a lot of studying. And I think being a teacher also helps me as an actress because I know how to study. I know how to be a student. I know how to be coachable. I know how to learn. Like, I don't know everything. I don't know a lot, to be honest. So just having the people in my tribe that coach me, I was getting private lessons. Honestly, I was paying a lot of money, but truthfully, it made me a better actor. So I just did all of my studying. And honestly, acting is like, and look at the character like an onion. Pull back layer by layer. Just like look at your life as an onion, look at your life as an onion and pull back the layers that make us who we are. Childhood trauma, things we've gone through, things we're facing, family dynamic, family structure. So as I look at a character, and my character, her name is Naomi. I love her, but I just pulled back her layers and just broke her down. And that helped me become her. But I know I had to step up to the plate because I was with some A-list people. And time is money. I never knew what that whole phrase meant until I got into the entertainment industry. Like time is money. People are paying for you to be here. So you got to show up and show out or else you look like a fool. They wasted all this money. No one wants to work with you. So, I mean, you got to show up. You have to put in the work, which it's not easy. But in the end, I did what I had to do to make me successful. And it looks good. Film looks good.
I can't wait to see it.
Yeah,
I'm
send it
gonna
to
probably
me.
cry the whole time, but
I
I'll
know,
watch
I
it
know.
for sure.
Yeah. So what was that? So like, I imagine just an immense amount of pressure, even though
Yeah.
you're not like in this particular role, you weren't the lead, but like the pressure, like I have to get this take done now because
Mhm.
like you said, time is money. You know what I mean? I couldn't, oh my gosh. Could you imagine like someone coming into work and be like, you need to make me a drink. Okay. And it needs to be under 5 seconds. Otherwise, we're just going to scrap you and we'll just find somebody else because I'm sure that's
Mhm.
it's cutthroat.
Mhm.
You
I mean,
might
that's
be
kind of what bartending is like, but I can find another bartending job like that. You can't
Ex-
really get another lead role in a major feature
Well,
film
'cause-
that
well,
easily.
from
Yeah.
from my immense amount of knowledge from Entourage. That's obviously sarcastic, but that industry has big mouths.
Yeah.
Everybody knows everything, and if you screw up on one set,
You can get blacklisted so quick. And that's why I say you have to be coachable. You need to be very friendly. Like kill everything with honey. Like there's a lot of times where I might have a call time at 4 a.m. and I'm not on set until 9. So like what was I doing for those 5 hours?
Oof.
You might just be sitting and holding in hair and makeup. I'm tired. I have an attitude, but you can't show up like that. Like it's the industry you signed up for. So you cannot show up like that. For Dolomite, I had a 3:30 a.m. call time to sit in hair and makeup. I would have rather showed up with my own hair and makeup done
Right.
Yeah.
and slept in. But it's like, I'm fortunate for the opportunity
I wonder why they do that.
to make sure you're there on time, because time is money.
It's all a test.
Yeah, time is money.
It's a constant test all the time.
Yeah.
I would not make it in the industry.
No,
I'm
you
so
are
late for everything.
everything that you do, you are late for.
I would get fired immediately.
The first job.
No one would even hire me. They're like, oh, I heard about her.
Yeah, they're
No,
like,
I heard now.
They're like, oh, I heard about her. They're like, what do you mean you heard about her? This is her first audition kind of thing. They'd be like, oh no, but I heard from like her bartending job that she's late, and then
who
her
heard
boyfriend.
from her boyfriend, who heard from
and-
her mother,
yeah,
and then her
this.
you know.
So yeah,
Yeah,
nah, she
no.
doesn't get it.
Everybody talks in LA. It's a very small town. I didn't know how small it was until I got into the industry. It is super small.
Did you get who's the coolest person you've met so far? Have you met? I assume you've met some cool
Oh.
people.
Ooh, that's tricky. I mean, definitely Eddie Murphy, because
That's
I
what I was
I
gonna
grew
say.
up.
Mhm.
You grow up watching Eddie Murphy, so that's.
I mean, the
that's
dude's
huge.
iconic.
Yeah.
He's, I mean,
Yeah.
he's-
Is he nice?
Oh my gosh, super nice, super friendly. And my grandfather's a Marine, so we cuss like a sailor in my home. So to see someone of his caliber, still real as shit, still so cool and down to earth, I love people like that. Like
Mhm.
Hollywood hasn't changed him, hasn't turned him, none of that.
Is he as funny in person as he is on screen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's that dry humor, like
Yeah.
under his breath, like,
Mhm.
all right, we done filmed this damn 10 times. Like, he's a really, really cool person. So Eddie Murphy, definitely hands down. But Ernest Lee Thomas, I mean, for my parents, that was big because they grew up watching him. So like, make sure you look him up after, because he's done so much, and you'd be like, oh, I recognize him, but I had no clue who he was until I told my mom, and she was like, you don't know Raj? And I was like, no, like, never ever watched it. But that was someone else. And he says I remind him of a young Cecily Tyson, which
Ooh,
that's
Yeah.
big.
yeah.
Like, that is major. He says I can kill people with my words. Like, it's just, it was a beautiful moment to be around someone like him, because he's been in this before any of us were thought of, you
Right.
guys.
yeah.
Like, we weren't even thought of, and he was already in this industry.
Did you get starstruck at all with any of them?
No, because in the end, they're an actor and so am I.
Okay.
So in the end, I hate to say it, we're the same.
Mm.
You
Don't-
might
don't say
be
you're sorry
seasoned.
for saying
Yeah,
that.
you
That's
might
great.
be. Thank you. See, yeah, in the end, we're the same. Like, they
Yeah.
might be seasoned, obviously way more financially stable,
Yeah.
but like, in the end, we're all actors.
I
They were
love
there
that.
one day. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They were an extra in the
Mm-hmm.
background that I would imagine at some point. I don't think there's any actor that just started up,
No,
you know, with a lead or anything.
And not for nothing, they're acting right alongside you at the same role.
Exactly.
So, like,
exactly.
you are the same.
Yes.
Like, you couldn't get more level playing field at that point.
Exactly.
That's great.
And
That's
I bet
amazing.
you there's like a level of respect too, because you don't get to that level without understanding that someone, you know, an actor of your caliber is extremely fundamental to the rest of the
Yeah.
production. If you don't have that, they know that if this person doesn't do their job, whatever, it's reflecting on them as well too, because then if they put out a shit movie or a shit show, then it's like, oh man, Eddie Murphy was in a shit show. Did you hear about that? And you're like, yeah,
Mhm.
all the extras in the background. Like if the extras are that bad, people will
Mhm,
notice, and they'll be like,
mhm.
all the extras sucked in the background. There was one girl just like waving into the camera. You know what I mean?
That would be me. Like,
Yeah.
hey, Mom,
Hey, you know?
I made it.
Oh my God, you
It's like a
guys are gonna-
zombie scene where like everybody's dead and Caitlin's just laying there like, hi. You know what I mean?
Guys, I'm here. I showed up.
Yeah.
Oh, we're filming? Oh, my bad.
Whoops. But like, you know, I feel like they understand that you're crucial. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? So they have to respect you. I would think, but
Yeah.
then you also see like mad videos of like some of these actors kind of being jerks. Have you ran into a jerk?
I haven't ran into any jerks, but I have ran into actors that they didn't know their own lines. So that's like take after take after take. And we're just all sitting here like, at this point, we know your lines. So that's annoying because they're top dollar. And, you know, they've
Mhm.
been in this industry forever. And it's almost like, just show up and do the work and so we can all go home. But it was
Wait,
one
like
in
and like an
particular.
A-list actor that didn't know their lines? I mean, you don't have to obviously name drop, but like you could just
Yeah.
shake your head.
Yeah, yes.
Wow.
I remember it was on You, and I don't care. We had to do take after take after take, and she's A-list, like I like A-list, and
Now I'm trying to think of who it is.
it-
Oh, I think I know who
and
it is.
it was she didn't like she was funny about it because she's a comedian, so she was funny about it, so it was all right. But if I'm putting my dollar on this, like if I was a producer, I'm like, you got 4 or 5 takes tops because we got to move on to the next scene.
So how many was she doing?
Like 8 or 9.
Oh shit.
It was a lot, y'all. Like a lot.
I was just watching the episode of Entourage where Vinny is doing he's being a fireman in this, and the director is making him do take after take after take, and then he winds up firing Vinny on the set because it just wasn't turning out all right, and then there was a whole blow up and all this stuff, like, which leads me into my next question. Like, do you have an agent? What does that look? Because like Ari Gold is like, if you are going to we talked about watching Entourage. If you're going to watch it, don't watch it for like the sex, drugs, alcohol, partying. Watch it for strictly Ari Gold.
Yeah.
Who is Vince's agent. He is the best. How they don't have a spinoff is, unbelievable. But he makes that show so amazing. So, like, what do you have an agent?
I do.
What is he or she like?
She's pretty cool. I do know she has a heavy plate, and that's something that I'm actually looking for another agent. Hopefully, she's not listening. No, I'm kidding. But I am. I just want to be with a smaller boutique agency, so that way they have less people on their plate and they can really focus on the actors that they have. So she has her own agency. It's great. I've gotten a lot of work from her. But some of the things she submits me for, I'm like, I don't fit the role of a 16-year-old. And it might be a compliment, but I don't want to play 16.
You could probably pull off 16.
I think
because
Pretty
movie
Little
16
Liars.
is like 85.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
for sure. And Pretty Little Liars, all of those young ladies were
Yeah.
30, 32, and they were playing high schoolers. But I just didn't know for me if I wanted to audition for a role as a 16-year-old. But I mean, she gets me a lot of work, so I can't be mad.
What was it like
Can't be
finding
mad.
her as an agent?
Funny, I actually found her. Okay, so we talk about all these Facebook groups and just all of these great things that social media brings to us. I put myself out there one time on a Facebook group. It was like actors and managers of LA. And I just put out all my reels, put up some information about myself, and a bunch of agencies were just like, hey, contact us, send us your information. And she actually reached out to me in the private, like, hey, I want to meet up and just talk. So we met over FaceTime. We were talking, and I love her. She's a Black female. So I'm like, oh, you look like me. I want to work with you. So that it wasn't as hard as it could be. And that's why I say God really like paved the way for me to get from the East Coast to the West Coast and actually like thrive in what it is I'm trying to become. So she's been dope thus far, except for my 16-year-old roles.
Yeah. Well, it helps that you're good too. If you sucked, that would be hard for her.
For sure.
To
Exactly.
get you jobs.
So true. So true. So true.
So we were just talking off air a little bit. Took a quick bathroom break. I do have a question. We were talking about you had made a statement saying that acting is the devil's work, right, or something like that. And how I was like, oh, well, you're just pretending to be this. I do know. I don't know if you've ever seen the film Foxcatcher. It's with Steve Carell in it, and it's about John DuPont killing basically one of the best American wrestlers in the world, especially one for the United States. And it's this whole crazy thing. And they said that Steve had to actually take like therapy because he got stuck in his character. Is that a real thing? Like, can you like actually get stuck in pretending what you're doing, or, because you're pretending for so long? And John DuPont was like such an eccentric guy. So you really had to like lean into that as much as possible. And they wound up saying that he started getting like angry with his wife and this, that, and the other thing. And it was like really, really hard on him. So like, can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah. So I've actually heard that. So it's nothing that I agree with. Like, acting is the devil's work, because I don't work for the devil whatsoever. But it's just the fact that a human can portray many different characters. And when we become that character, it's sometimes hard to tap out of it. Like, we talked a little bit about Leonardo DiCaprio and how it's easy for him, like 3 seconds before they say action, for him to go from Leo to the character that he's being. And some people can say that that's a little psychotic, like a little crazy, but it's just the way we've been taught to do what it is that we do. So it's hard sometimes to tap out of that role, especially when I do a dramatic scene. Like, I have to prepare heavy. So it's almost like I think of the worst things. So when I was Naomi, I had a very dramatic scene. So I just thought about my grandmother, like someone super close to me that passed away right when I moved to California. So I couldn't come home for the funeral. Like, you have to really tap into the dark places that you avoid. But at the same time, tapping into those dark places, you also grow from. So I had to check his name, but Lakeith Stanfield, who played Judas in Judas and the Black Messiah, he is the one that betrayed Huey Newton. So he had to go to therapy after that, after his role, because it was so hard for him to tap out of betraying his community. Like, he portrayed the entire Black Panther nation. He was always acting like an ally, like he was a part of it, but he's the one that set Huey Newton up to be killed. So it was really hard for Lakeith to come out of that. By the grace of God, I haven't had any character that has made me have to go to therapy, but it's just like trying to tap out of that character is hard. But it also showed me that I run from wounds and I have to face them. The best way to heal a wound is to clean it up, doctor it, and you have to face it. So those times that I have to tap into those dark sides, I hate, but when I come out of it, I'm like, oh shit, like I feel good. Like, you know, sometimes crying is like a release. You have to let those things go. But tapping into characters, they can bring some bad things out of you. I had one character where she was raped. I've never been raped or even in that encounterment, but I had to tap in, like, what is life like for someone that has gone through that trauma? So leaning on friends that maybe have been sexually assaulted and things like that. And like, you don't want to put yourself in that position, you know, just to have that in the back of your mind. So it's just tapping into those dark places. It's not good, y'all, but it's what you have to do the work. So that's why a lot of the times people say, hey, it's the devil's work, because you're adapting a new character and a new personality and a new name for yourself. So it's scary, but I love it.
Have you ever like caught yourself like before, like if you dove deep into those feelings and whatnot, and then you realize like on the drive home, you're like, man, I'm still like really upset, or I'm still wound up, and then you're like, wait a minute, you're still there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You've caught yourself before?
Completely. I had a character named Katrina, and she was a badass bitch. Like, that was just Katrina. And the way I was talking to my boyfriend one time, he was like, are you still Katrina? And I was like, oh shoot, I think you're right. Like, I was just talking, the way I was talking at him was just like, go and do that. And he was like, wait a minute, like, say please. Like, just things like that. But I had literally just came from set, and I was still in that like boss bitch behavior. And it's sometimes hard to tap out of it, but I do like being somebody different. It might sound crazy, but it's fun. I get to step out of Ashley and step into someone else. It's a lot of fun, but at the same time, I got to come back to reality. Like, this is not who I am.
And you said your boyfriend is an actor as well, too.
No. He's a producer.
Oh, he's a producer.
Yeah, so he has his own production company, Artistic Vision. So he does a lot of independent films, small films. Like, he's awesome because he's on the other side of the camera. I'm on this side of the camera, and he's on the other side of the camera.
So, I mean, I'm sure if you did struggle with anything like that, he at least understands, which is nice, because like to me, I would be like, yo, why is this girl fucking yelling at me, dude? Like, I'm just cooking dinner while she was at work. You know what I mean? Yes. But at least he understands.
Yeah, I had a kissing scene in this past feature film, and I was so nervous for him to see it. His response is, I don't think you guys were intimate enough. I was like,
whoa. Whoa. Well, things a normal boyfriend would not say.
Yeah, but because he's in the industry, he was like, I just didn't feel it. Like, he literally was straight up, and I was like, I appreciate you for that.
Wow.
Because like, you were in the back of my mind during this entire time. So of course I'm not going to be all over my co-star, but maybe I should have been to make it better. You just never know. But
was that the first one? Was that like the first? Oh,
yes.
Man.
So
what was that like?
Girl. Because my co-star is married with kids with like you know what I mean? So it's different, but it's nothing new for him. So I almost just had to you kiss with your eyes closed. So you can picture somebody else.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, we're kissing, but it was like, you know, innocent, like just little pecks. It's not what you do with your man or your woman. Yeah. It's just not. Yeah.
Well, unless you got casted for that type of role. Not you personally.
But depending if it was somebody else on the other side, like Michael B. Jordan, it's not hard.
Yo, I have to just like put myself on blast for a second here. Like, every once in a while, if I get bored, I'm like creepy on Instagram just because it's funny, I think, for myself, unless my friends see it and like it. That's embarrassing. But Michael B. Jordan, I stalk him. I would say it stopped about a year ago, but it was steady for probably 3 years. I would like hit him up on every picture I'd post. Hey, MBJ, happy Tuesday. Just waiting to shoot my shot. Love always, Katie. And then one time, this like fake Michael B. Jordan account like messaged me on Instagram, and it is the same picture. It had everything the same except for the check mark, obviously. And I saw it in my DMs, and I was like, it's happening. He's found me. His wife or girlfriend, whatever she is now, she's fucking beautiful, right? I'm like,
Gorgeous.
but he has seen the light that I'm funny. He thinks I'm funny because I was trying to, like, I'll just get him with my humor, like, and then it was a fake account. And
Oh no.
my dreams died, and I haven't written on his Instagram since. But
I'll give you that. He's hot.
Yeah.
I'll say it.
he's so
I don't
hot.
care.
Oh
He's
my
hot.
Yeah,
gosh.
but his girlfriend's just equally hot, so they're a
Yes.
beautiful ass
Really?
couple.
I
Like,
don't know who
yeah.
she is.
I don't know her name, but she's. It
we'll
was
show
a
you
sad day
after.
when I found her, and
It was a sad day.
I was like, "Damn."
So imagine if you get a kissing role with him, and then you have to tell
Oof.
your man,
Yeah.
and then he's like, "Oh God, this is it. This is where I lose her."
No, he's smart about it. So he would be like, "What's the dollar amount?" Like,
They'd be like, "So, how much are you getting paid? All right. So if you use tongue, do you get an extra 10 grand?"
yeah, I'd give him a cut, 100%. I'd give him a cut.
Oh my, good for
I'm
you.
just still sitting here picturing
Making
kissing
it-
Michael B. Jordan, so I'm a little speechless at
Yeah.
the moment.
Oh my
Like that could actually happen for you someday. Oh my god.
Praying.
That's my new goal for you as an actress.
Okay, let's pray.
Okay.
I wonder if people get like attached like that. Like, do
I
you think
would.
actors probably like? Because I'm sure there's probably an act like if I got to kiss Mila Kunis, I'm falling in love.
For
I
sure.
mean, like that it's just happening. So
Mhm.
like, I
Well,
wonder.
you see that like Brad Pitt and Angelina, they got together after the movie they did
Yeah.
together. That happens a lot.
A lot of Hollywood affairs are literally broken or built from the acting roles.
just from having one kissing scene. Oh
Yeah.
God, I'd be doomed.
Yeah.
All of
'Cause
the
how
pretty
did,
girls. Woo.
Ben Affleck and Jennifer Lopez meet. Like, I was it on
I don't know.
on the
Oh
film?
yeah, I think it was. You know, I think it
Yeah.
was. They did, what was it, Jersey Girl?
Yeah, something like that. One of those movies from
Yeah.
back in the day, but
Mhm.
I'm pretty sure that's how they got together.
I always just thought it was just two publicists getting together saying that you two should probably date because you'll
It
get on
looks
the front
good.
of TV or TMZ. You know, they'll be all happy and all that stuff, which probably still happens
Yeah.
too. But
So, Sharp Right, we mentioned a little bit that you are teaching and acting at the same time, which I'll admit, when you moved out there, I expected you to have just not been teaching anymore. I saw, you're doing all these great things in films and stuff like that. I'm like, oh, good for her. Like, what a crazy contrast, like going from being a teacher to an actress. And then right before you came on the show, Bobby had let me know that you're still teaching. So what is that like? I mean, I know my sister is a teacher and she's really private about her personal life because, she lives in a small town. She doesn't want the kids to know that Mrs. Sutton gets wine drunk on Thursdays after class is over, So hopefully none of her parents listen to this podcast. But here we are. What is that like?
The parents know. So it's actually really cool. It's something I also keep on the down low. My students are smart, and my Instagram's not private. I mean, so I don't ever want them to find me. So I make sure, I'm using a totally different username, all of that jazz. I keep that on the DL very secretive and down low with that. But the school that I teach at, we have a lot of celebrity parents. So when I take days off, like when I ask for a substitute, I just use a personal day and I'm on set. The thing is make sure you have your lesson plans done. So anything that a substitute would need, I literally lay it out. Beautiful binder, schedule. I have the emergency backpack next to the desk. Like, I really just make it a smooth day for a sub. So when I return, no one has any questions. Not a single question for me. But the school that I work at, they understand. And I'm very honest with my assistant head of school. She gets it. So it's just as long as you're transparent and you communicate that. But things I wish I could post on social media, I don't because of my students, because I could be easily found. And just, you don't want to post that you're on set if I'm using a sick day. So I try and then post date it and things like that. So it's not easy living a double life. Like, I don't want to do this forever. I'm happy I'm young. I have the energy. I have the patience. But eventually, my days are numbered as a teacher, and the acting is eventually going to take over. But I'm thankful, you guys, that I have a degree in education, because you could wake up sick, you know what I mean? But I just wake up sick on set. So they don't know that. So it's really good to have the job to fall back on. But when I say like the producers of Power, like we have so many. The cast of Big Little Lies, like there are so many parents that go to this school. So I'm just waiting to shoot my shot like you did. I need to slide in someone's emails and just let them know. But it's like, I'm at this school for a reason. And the school found me. I subbed there once and she just pulled me out of the portal like, hey, we love you. We want you to stay and just be permanent. So I teach 6th grade math and science. I'm the cool teacher. everyone has a ball coming through my classroom. And I got eucalyptus and lavender like blowing through.
Mm.
So teachers will stop in when they need like some zen. I have the chill homeroom. So I love it. And I love that I can do both. Like, who would have ever thought I could do both?
I did not. I'm shocked, but
Yeah.
but now sitting here talking to you, it makes sense.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, I
I-
guess the fact that you're good at both is helpful. If
Mhm.
you were not great at either, they
Yeah.
probably wouldn't keep you.
But the thing, teaching, I can do with my eyes closed. And I don't want to be complacent in life. Like I was saying it before, I like losing Anthony Christopa like killed me because that was someone I grew up with all my life. Reggie not too long ago,
Mhm.
who's friends with like Joe Blocker and all of them. So losing the people that we grew up with lets me know like our days here are numbered.
Mm-hmm.
And it's sad and it's scary, but you got to do what you want to do in this time because you really don't know when God's going to call you upstairs soon, you know? So I make sure that whatever I do is what I want to do. And I know teaching is not forever, and I'm about to roll into acting full time. So just wait.
There you go. I think just to tie back into, the original question between like the work balance, I guess it would be because
Yeah.
it's work. I think the atmosphere also helps. Like if you tried pulling some shit like that, like out in here, in the Philadelphia area here, like, hey, I have a sick day because I have an acting shoot, they would be like, shut up and get your ass to
Yeah.
work.
Mhm.
Where like LA, that atmosphere, everyone goes to LA to do that's what LA
Mhm,
is.
mhm.
It's called Hollywood. You know what I mean? And so I feel like that does make it a little bit easier, but I would never would have thought about that at all. I would still like, because we're so conditioned to
Yes.
feel guilty to take a day off of work, even if
Mm.
you just need it.
Mhm.
I saw a meme about that where it's like, why is it bad to take a mental health day for yourself? Like,
It's
why do you feel guilty if you are sick? We're not talking about COVID. We're just saying like if you're sick, like I'm actually sick. Why is it that I can't use? Why do you feel guilty using a sick day? Now,
Mm.
granted, your sick days are just
I feel guilty using my vacation days.
Don't.
even-
don't.
yeah.
I do. Like that. Like so. I have summer Fridays at my job, and you can either work 4 10s or you can take the Fridays off and use your vacation days. I have 18 vacation days. I'm like, oh, I should just take them. But then I was like, well, will it look like I'm not working hard enough, and I only need to work 4 days a week? Like
yeah.
our
Isn't
society
it crazy
is just so screwed.
Yeah, like I said, I've seen some like memes and stuff like that where it's like you're given vacation days, but yet you feel guilty to use them,
Mhm.
and then they get mad at you for using them, and it's like, well, that's what they're for. I need
Yeah.
a break from y'all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Like,
Yeah.
take that break. I mean, I don't get vacation days. I just don't go.
Yeah.
So,
But I want you to get out that mindset because I hate to say it, but if you were to die on Tuesday, they're going to post your job on Friday.
but,
They
So-
wouldn't even
what do you
wait
mean?
till
What do you mean
Friday.
Friday?
Oh, I'm
It's
sorry. They're going to
Tuesday
post your job
afternoon.
Tuesday night.
It's like,
Yeah.
girl, you know where I work. They would not wait.
Yeah. So get out of that mindset. Do not feel bad because mental health days are big. And I even think students should take mental health days.
I agree.
Mhm.
So don't feel bad and whenever if you need to just step away from work to take care of you, your family, your mental well-being, don't feel bad.
And
That's why they give you the days.
And like I said, and yours just happens to be on set.
Yeah.
Playing Naomi.
Which I wish I was taking days off to
Yeah.
just sleep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
I'm taking days off to work 12-hour shifts and then return back to teaching the next day.
And do something that's harder.
Yeah, it's harder.
Like to
It's
you
harder.
at least. Like
It's
you
harder.
said, you can teach in your sleep. This acting obviously takes.
Yeah.
Not saying that one's harder than the other. You got to be fair, but this one to you, acting is harder
Yeah.
than teaching.
It gives me butterflies still. Every time I perform, I get butterflies. But in front of my students, I'm just another big kid in the room. So it's something I can do whenever
That's a good way to put it. Did you get butterflies before coming on the mic?
outside.
Oh, that makes us feel cool.
I literally called my boyfriend. I was like, I'm nervous, right? He was like, oh, I already knew it.
Really?
It's literally just something that happens, but I love it. You
Yeah.
grow so
Mhm.
much from that feeling. I'm chill now. I feel
Yeah,
great.
yeah.
I'm cool. Everything.
We always say
But-
once the
Yeah.
conversation starts rolling, you realize that it's just a conversation that we would be having over beers or glasses of wine,
Yeah.
and there just happens to be a microphone in front
For
of
sure.
you. That's different. Do you get nervous still, Caitlin?
So when we have people on like yourself and like past guests who have done similar things like this before, I get nervous because I'm like, well, they do this all the time, and I still feel like you and I are just
Yeah.
making it up as we go along.
Yeah, I don't get nervous anymore.
I do a
You
little.
guys
not
are
he-
great.
here and there. I do, but
I because someone asked me that, when was it? That was this week. They're like, you ever nervous on there? I'm like, dude, I don't shut the fuck up to begin with. So like, nah, dude, I'm good. You know what I mean? I get nervous because like as everyone knows, I do all the editing. I get nervous because I like watch this shit and I'm just like, I hope this doesn't like just crash because then I think of like the worst. Like, what happens when my laptop just doesn't turn on? Well, everything we just did is a
Oh my
nightmare.
gosh,
And
I've
then I'm
never thought about that before,
Dang.
and
oh,
now I'm going to.
Yeah.
Thank
well,
you.
I just started saving a copy of the original. So then if I did,
Smart.
screw up the editing, I can at least go back and just start all over, which would be a nightmare. But I just thought about doing that the other day because I had a scare. I was like, oh my gosh, I just deleted everything. And then I'm like, that's where I get nervous. On this, talking to people, come on, bro. Like I said, I don't shut that all up anyway.
So this is your lane. Like this might be your purpose and what it is like you're meant to do.
That's scary to think about. I just got nervous thinking about that.
Oh.
I'm
See?
sweating.
And those are the butterflies.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's true.
So to reel it in a little bit back to you and your purpose, you're in the industry, you're a woman. We talk about this a lot in any industry, but especially entertainment. Have you struggled at all due to the fact that you're a woman?
I definitely feel that LA and in the industry, it's all who you know. You could study, you could go to the best schools in the world, but it's literally who you know. And some people do test you at what you'll do to get a role. But in the end, like I serve a higher purpose. So I'm never about to go crazy and, bust it wide open for a role or anything like that. But I mean, I've been in rooms that I never thought I'd be in. And just with like, high people of Netflix and different Amazon directors and just people where it's like, wow, like, but they also, get down and have a good time too. So it's just something where I'm always very careful because you might meet me for the first time and it might be the first appearance. And I don't want to have a bad taste in your mouth, but I also want to let you know I'm real. I'm real. I like to have a good time. I like to party too. We work hard, but we party even harder. And that's that industry. But you have to be careful because you'd never want people to paint you a certain way. So it's like, as a woman, I have had challenges, but I always go into a room knowing that I have a higher purpose. And for that reason, you go in with, you're standing tall, shoulders back, head held high. And it's like, I know for a fact that I'm meant to be in this room and I don't have to do any off the wall shit to stay in this room. If that makes sense. Yeah. But women, I mean, ever since the Me Too movement, men have been receiving us a little bit different. Being a Black woman is hella different. But like you have people like Lena Waithe, Viola Davis, people that, I mean, I always call her Kerry Washington. Wait, no, that's her real name. I think of her scandal name, and I say Olivia Pope, and I'm like, no, her real name's Kerry Washington. But all the women that have paved the way and just the level of respect that they get, I deserve the same. I might not be an A-list celebrity like just yet, but we all deserve the same respect. And being in the room with those women and just how we all embrace each other. A lot of the time, there are like issues with women supporting women. And for what? Like if I can eat at the table.
I was actually just going to ask because there's some women who will succumb to lowering themselves to get a job and paint that negative picture of themselves.
Yeah.
But you're not, you don't.
No. And if like I can eat at the table, you can eat at the table. And like I want to make sure my friends eat too. So for that reason, you surround yourself around strong, independent, like-minded women. And it's been a blessing thus far. I've lost friends, like friends that I went to elementary school, middle school, high school with. I'm not friends with them anymore. Is it because I grew and they didn't? Or is it because we just are on different paths? Who knows? But it's really helped me with the new female relationships that I'm making now. I don't make as many male relationships because I don't need to. I have my boyfriend. Like we're good. But in making female relationships, I make sure that they feel that support. They feel that love and that if they can do it, I can do it. And I'm rooting for you. So that's something I've noticed is hard. Like in the industry, women want to compete with one another. And it's just like, for what? Like, there's enough room for us all. Honestly, for us all.
I mean, yeah. I mean,
Bobby's
Netflix
like,
shows.
bring them all. Bring all the women on.
All the women. Bring them all.
Bring them all to me.
We're in my parents' basement. They're sick. No, I agree. I mean, like, I feel like it's every other week there's a new Netflix special. There's a new thing. So it's like, girl, like if you're competing, like there's gonna be another one. You know what I mean? And if you walk in as this independent woman, powerful woman as I am, and I got this role. Well, guess what? You're gonna get the next one. You're gonna get one. Keep doing this. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's
Do you see how many entertainment platforms there are now? Like, what is Peacock?
I
What
have
is
no
Tubi?
idea.
Like, what are all of these platforms that were non-existent before COVID? And it's just like there's enough room, literally, for us all.
yeah.
I can get one role and be good. Give me a series regular and I'll be good.
yeah.
But God laughs at me because he's like, girl, that is the bare minimum. Like, I'm about to take you to the next level.
I love your energy
Yeah,
with
yeah.
that. I think that's probably why you're so successful, because
Thank
you
you.
don't put it like, oh, I hope I get this. You're like, oh, no, this is happening for
Yeah,
me.
it's happening.
100%.
I'm learning that. And like for anyone listening, if you want something, you have to speak it into existence. Put it in the air so your ancestors hear it, so your people around you hear it. That way everyone's praying and rooting for you. Also be careful who hears it, because people do pray against you. But put it in the air. You have to manifest it. I write stuff out on my whiteboard all the time because if I visually see it, I'm going to manifest the hell out of it.
Mhm.
Like completely.
I do that too. I put goals on my bathroom mirror.
Yes, girl.
Do they always happen? No.
No.
But seeing them at least keeps me accountable.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, and make a daily goal. Like, I want to go to the gym today, or I want to drink 8 glasses of water today.
Right.
I want to not have an alcoholic beverage today.
Mhm.
No, just but a daily goal, a weekly goal, monthly goal, 6 months. Like, continuously make goals for yourself. And I think that's also the teacher in me, because my students, we set daily goals, we set weekly goals,
Mhm.
and then I'm like, why aren't I doing that?
yeah, just
so-
do it for yourself.
For sure. And I've seen myself. I love crossing that shit off.
Mhm.
I did this today. Like, I love
And it was
doing
something
that.
as simple as like clean the bathroom. You're like,
Literally,
yes, fuck yeah.
Hell yeah, make that bed.
But it really is like, even the small stuff. I feel like, I think you've seen my goals on my bathroom mirror before, Bobby, and you've been like, that seems like kind of like a normal thing that a person would do, and it's a thing that you say in your head. But I'm like, if I see it, like, I will
Mhm.
get it done.
Finish laundry. You're like,
Seriously.
oh, whoa,
Sometimes it's like, start laundry.
And by you putting it on the bathroom goal, it opens up a level of vulnerability,
Mhm.
because now other people are seeing it. So
Right.
now we have to keep you accountable. Like, hey, Katie, did you do that laundry today? And it's like, oh shit, I didn't. Let me go do the load now.
Mhm, right.
Like, literally
Mhm.
just putting it out there. You have to put it out there so you keep yourself accountable and the people around you keep you accountable.
Can you be our teacher?
I could. I
We
could.
fly you back and forth.
Yeah.
Like,
Virtual, baby.
Love
2021.
To
let's
be honest,
go.
I hated virtual teaching.
I can't imagine.
Like, it felt good to teach pretty blouse, sweatpants on the bottom, but like the things you would have as normal conversation was an email. I had literally 300 emails a day when I could just have conversations with my grade partner or with the assistant head of school.
See, and
Annoying.
I working from home, like, I hate people. Like, I hate them. So like, the fact that everything could be an email, I'm like, fucking finally. Like, Dale, you can stay away from my goddamn desk. You don't have to come over and ask. You just shoot me an email. Or
Yeah.
better yet, you figure out the answer by yourself
Self.
and leave me the fuck alone.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
This is why I'm not a teacher. So-
Seriously. So to all the parents, we thank you, because the parents during COVID, they were the nurse, the cafeteria
Mm,
staff, the
mhm.
principal of discipline, they were a teacher, like they were everything. But now that the kids are back, I'm like, take them back. Like
Damn.
take them back now. Yeah.
Well, congratulations on completing a year of COVID teaching. That was probably insane. And also landing a major role in the same year, too.
Yeah.
Right? It was this past year, right? That you had
Yeah, I got
gotten
that
lead
role in 2020. I got the Lexus commercial in 2020. Like, COVID, the year of 2020 was crazy. Like, it was crazy for us all. But we have to look at that silver lining in between. Like, LA was beautiful. It wasn't as much smog. People were home. So, like, LA was beautiful. I was working. I was reading. Who has time to read? Like, I hate to sound like that, but I don't have time. I don't have time to read. So it was just a year of like really focusing on myself, saving money, doing things around the house I wouldn't usually do. I painted a bookshelf. Like, who has time to do anything like that?
Mhm.
Caitlin paid in something recently too.
I
There you
know.
go,
2
girl.
things, actually.
How did that turn out?
Well, I
Uh,
still have to put the finishing coat in the other one, but nothing's chipped yet. I'm
See?
basically ready to open a home improvement company.
There you go.
Yes. DIY was my life. TikTok, you ever see the DIY section?
I refuse to get on TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm too
You
old.
just called it Tic Tac.
Yeah, I know. I do that on purpose
That's
because I'm
embarrassing.
old. I just can't do it. And I know that I'll just dive down into
feel
like
like-
the abyss.
I feel
of-
like East Coast people, if you're on TikTok and you're our age, it's just like, what? Why are you doing that? Like, I feel like West Coast makes more sense.
I only
Yeah.
do it for home improvement. Only
that's
for
it.
decor and things around the house.
Oh, I didn't know that they had that.
I'm
You know how I am
telling
about
you.
interior design. I fucking love that shit. Oh.
Girl, get on there. I created these vases that I've seen at West Elm for triple the amount. Dollar store vases, you paint them. You have to put baking powder in the paint to thicken it up
shit.
and make it not transparent. I'm telling you, I almost called it TikTok now.
Well, catch me
Tic-tac.
on TikTok, guys.
TikTok has showed me a lot.
Oh my
Shit.
gosh.
All right. Well, there goes more of my time.
Right. So we're about just finished up here. What we like to do is we give our guests like a closing argument. Like out of everything that we talked about today, from packing up and moving, across the entire United States, to getting into acting, to that work balance, the acting industry and that whole everything. What is one thing that you would want to drive home to our listeners?
Any dream that you have, big or small, chase that shit. Chase it and never stop chasing it. Never look back. You can't, just like pedaling a bike backwards, you either break or you don't go anywhere. So never look at your past as if it won't help you to get to your future. Your past makes you. We think a lot of times our past breaks us. So the things that have happened to us, they've happened for you. So like me moving to LA, losing friends, it helped me to build new relationships, helped me to focus on myself, focus on the career I'm trying to shoot for. So if you have a dream, never give up on that shit. You could be hit with so many challenges and curveballs, but just never stop digging through them all and keep looking forward, pressing forward. And at times it's going to get hard, but those challenges are what makes you. It's what creates you, what builds you, and what just molds you into who you're supposed to become. Dream big and just keep pushing for it.
Love that.
I'm
I'm inspired.
going to run through a brick wall. Let's go.
Okay, let's go.
Let's go.
I haven't written goals in like a month, and I'm going home and I'm writing them
Yes.
tonight.
And look, we're about to hit July. Write some new goals for July.
Done.
Yeah. Some fitness goals. I know Bobby be out here running. Don't let him fool you, ladies. He be running every morning.
That is true. I did skip this morning though. 'Cause
Oh,
I
what are you
knew-
doing?
It was raining. I
Oh,
don't know.
okay.
Yeah, it was
Excuse.
pretty-
That's
pretty-
a good excuse. That's a good excuse.
Yeah, pretty
But,
gross out.
yeah, but as we enter July, just definitely set some goals for the next few months for the rest of the year.
Now I feel like I have to, because I
You
feel like
have to.
the teacher in hers,
I'm
she'll
gonna
let
hit you
me.
up. Yeah.
She gonna hit
I'm
me.
gonna hit you up at the end of July.
I was
Like,
gonna say,
did
when's
you
our homework
accomplish?
due?
She's like, what did you do? And I'm like, oh God, I'm sorry.
I can explain.
Just make it up. I'll never
My
know.
dog ate it. My dog ate
My
it.
dog ate my goals.
A student actually brought me a dog eating paper when we were back from COVID, and I was like, why didn't you just rewrite it? Like, that's not an excuse anymore. Just
Just you had all the time in the world.
Yeah, I was like, you had all the time in the world. Why didn't you just rewrite it?
Oh my gosh.
That's great.
Well, we want to thank you, Ashley, for coming on. I mean, it was great that the timing worked out. We ran into each other at the gym. It was kind of fate, I guess you would
Yeah.
say, to have you on. And we just appreciate you giving us some of your time, some of your knowledge and wisdom. And we wish you the best of luck. Everyone will be watching. What's the name of the movie again?
So we have John Wynn's Playhouse, and then the short film that I was in. Oh, it's gonna mid-coitus. That comes out actually the end of July.
Boom.
So we've got some stuff. You can find me on the Lexus commercial online. And then I'm waiting for, it was a DirecTV and AT&T commercial where I was the stand-in for Serena. So they'll overlay me with her, but trust me, I got all the behind the scenes footage. So you'll see that come out soon too.
Awesome.
And yeah, of course, you can find me on Instagram. It's at Ashley Nicole. Now, Instagram is annoying. There's a bunch of Ashley Nicoles. So there's two Y's. So Ashley with 2 I's and Nicole with 2 I's. But you'll find me. It's easy.
And we'll make sure to tag her as well.
Okay.
On that note, you guys know what to do. Follow the Irregular Instagram page at Irregular Podcast. Also, feel free to follow my Instagram page at YoBob, EYOOO_BOB.
And follow my Instagram page at Katie_ANI. It's KAITY_ANI. I think we'll see you next week. We have somebody pretty cool lined up for our next episode, and we're going to try and get some stuff recorded on the back end too. We are also going to be putting out some calls for help for some exciting episodes that we have coming up. Some gossip centered stuff, some good things. So please reach out to us. As always, if you're looking to be a guest on the show, DM us. DMs are always open. And if we, once you see what we're talking about, calling for some help for content,
You'll
please,
understand.
Yes, and please submit. Like, if you think your story is dumb and won't fit, like, those are the best ones, I feel like.
Usually.
When people are like, "Oh, I don't know if this is actually that good," but we're like, "Oh, here we go."
Yeah.
Let's do this. So thank you, and maybe we'll see you next week. Love you.
Love you guys.